Koyanskaya Tamovich is a spirit embodying the Tunguska event, resulting in the deaths of mostly animals and plant life. She looks like Tamamo, and because daji is set up like Tamamo as well, that causes some confusion for some of the Chinese servants. While she is not the actual Tamovich, she does take on a persona matching the description of Tamovich. She considers Tamamo very similar to her because they both are a threat to humans, but she is not a Tamamo herself. Daji, also known as Daki to some, is a beast from 3,000 years ago who was considered a very manipulative and evil woman. Her actions being compared to that of Tamamo's evil doings, which is why some see the connection between the two. Although if you ask Tamamo, she will deny any connection to Daji, while Tamamo Cat considers them all similar enough, showing that she accepts Daji. Now, even though Koyanskaya is using Tamamo's spirit origin, she is not a fox, but rather she is a rabbit. You can tell from her design that there's some differences, with her hair being a different shade of pink, on top of her actually having a matching tail, where Tamamo's don't. During the Tunguska event, her domain is actually a reality marble that is inside of her body. It is a biosphere where non-humans live and thrive. When Chaldea plans to send 10 servants already set up to instantly assault the area and take her down along with the master, they are rendered useless since most of them are in fact human. You could say she learned this because of the way the British law spell worked, denying proper human history and the throne of heroes. In essence, heroic spirits and proper human history is being rejected. Dwelling within this biosphere exists creatures called the Lost Kin, which are entities that take the shape of inhabitants of previous lost belts that Koyanskaya has absorbed into her. There are also other creatures that appear similar to species that we are familiar with and some that we aren't, essentially inhabiting brand new species who are all siblings. According to Taigong, they act human-like with an established sense of society and roles. Although you must understand that these creatures do not have a will of their own and are essentially just meat puppets acting on pure instinct. Within the life zone, which opposes what he calls the death zone, which is where the more mechanical and violent creatures fight in a wasteland of death and destruction. There's also the lost weapons, which take the shape of former enemies such as Surtur and Ivan the Terrible. Koyanskaya has the ability to manifest clones of herself to appear anywhere, considering it sits a reality marble inside of her, so she actually surprised the Chaldeans appearing in their storm border. It was thanks to Taigong Wang using forced ultra high speed movement to relocate them to a safer place to battle. Koyanskaya decided to summon a large number of her children, these creatures, against the Chaldeans. Taigong, in a way to counter Koyanskaya thinking she was Daji, or at least Daji's shadow, decided to use one of his anti-beast noble phantasms made specifically for Daji, which did not work because Koyanskaya is not Daji. That's when he decided to cast his second anti-beast noble phantasm, which actually buffs his team, which did work somewhat against Koyanskaya, who went into her first and complete beast form, but because this was a clone and Koyanskaya only looking a bit like Daji, only made it somewhat effective, making his initial plans go up in smoke, tanking some of his credibility. Now, Koyanskaya could have continued to summon more of her children to get rid of our heroes, but before she could even consider doing so, Taigong used the ultra high speed movement again to send the team back to the storm border to give them a chance to escape, while he would be a decoy to stop Koyanskaya. But she decided that she didn't want to play this game with him, so she decided to just retreat anyway and wait for them to visit her at her headquarters. When they finally do visit her headquarters, they meet one of her familiars called PB, who she actually likes a fair bit and is actually appreciative that they treated him respectfully. She reveals to us that that she sees humanity essentially as trash, wanting us to go extinct and to see our downfall, and then sell off our final moments to other life forms in the universe to see how well they'll sell. It might sell for a lot, or since we're trash, it might sell for absolutely nothing. With the talking over, she decides to finally transform into her complete beast form, but the thing is, she doesn't have enough tails for that, so she pushes herself into a state of completion with what she has. With the combined efforts of Taegong's Taoist arts and Nikitich, Koyanskaya reverts back to her more humanoid form in a last-ditch effort using human weapons essentially to try to kill the master. That is until Nikitich, with support from the master via command seal, uses her second noble phantasm, a conceptual armor. Taegong deduces that what she actually is the Tunguska event personified. The Tunguska event being a natural disaster, with the idea of humans having caused it being no more than residual thoughts passed on after all the facts. Looking into her true nature with some sage arts, he reveals that she doesn't actually hate humanity as much as she said, to the point where she wants to eradicate us. Rather, she mostly wants to mess with us in a more violent and bloody manner, but she loves us because humans regardless are still animals. Finally admitting her defeat, allowing her fate to be in the hands of the master. The thing is, she cannot leave this current spot anymore with her reality marble already in place until she matures, which she can no longer do. So Taegong puts on the table that since her world is not a threat to proper human history like a lost belt, she doesn't have to die. Rather, he has a plan to send her into outer space after the fantasy trees, aka trees of emptiness, have been cut down right before human history starts to restore itself, with the space-time of her reality marble being frozen and its outside being compressed into the size of an egg. He can then put her in a space that is not the void, but space and time does work differently from our world, being a safe place for her to exist until she can be sent off, with her last words to Chaldea being that if they don't clear the skies, then she'll come out of her egg and then eat them and humanity. And before we end, I'll leave you with this. If Koyanskaya did achieve her goal completely and got her last tails, then one of them will be the alien god and the other will be the master of Chaldea. Now, if you want to know about an actual Tamamo, then check out my Tamamo Aria video on the screen or in the description.